If you've been charged with an offense in Tarrant County and you're going in for your first in-person court setting, here's some things that you should know. First, your first court setting is unlikely to have been what the court will designate as your initial appearance. And that's because most of our clients are excused from the initial appearance as long as we were able to represent them before that setting date and the court had no additional bond conditions to add. So your first true court appearance where you have to show up is likely to be a consultation setting. That's true of both misdemeanor and felony cases, whether or not it is formally called a consultation setting. But the purpose of this setting is for the judge to make sure the parties have talked to each other about offers, counter offers, and what the evidence looks like. Understand that this is a mechanism the judge is using to make sure cases are worked on. Our office, though, will have contacted the prosecution, asked for the evidence, and summarized the evidence for you generally before that first court setting, as long as the prosecutor opened up the evidence for us or returned our phone calls and emails. If they haven't done so, that consultation setting is when the judge expects them to do that, to make sure they've turned over evidence, to make sure that they have made an effort to give us an offer. That's not always possible. For example, if they're waiting for a drug lab report, blood results on a DWI, or some other forensic information. If they don't have that information, they will not make an offer and essentially ask the court to pass it to the next setting. We will always have told you prior to the setting if this is going to be a substantive setting where a potential resolution can be reached. In other words, if we've been working with the responsive prosecutor and we have everything lined up to get the case resolved at that first setting, we will let you know before you get to court. Otherwise, what you're doing once you get to court is waiting for us to get there, for us to touch base with the judge, the prosecution, and the court coordinator to then come talk to you and get you excused. You won't be surprised by anything in terms of what you're having to do. Even if you dislike whatever the state's offer is, that will be a private conversation amongst us, and we will get you excused for the day. You should not be losing sleep over your first court setting because you will not be questioned by a judge, you will not be questioned by the prosecution. No one's going to be talking to you other than your attorney and other than you answering roll call or the court's docket. Additionally, understand that you should dress appropriately for court. What that means is wear something that shows the court respect. Don't wear anything that's torn, ripped, or has offensive graphics on it. However, by the same token, don't go out of your way to buy a new outfit for court, as long as you have something that is respectable. Whether that's jeans with a tucked-in shirt, a button-down shirt, something that shows you're taking this seriously. Many would call it their Sunday best. But you don't have to go buy a suit because no one's going to notice or give you any extra credit for that. The only way you can draw attention to yourself at these pretrial settings is negative attention, and you certainly don't want that. If and when your case goes to trial, we will have a different conversation about what you should wear to court, because at that point, it will make a difference whether or not you're dressed up or if you come in looking slightly casual. If you're someone that has to get to work and need to wear scrubs or a uniform, that is perfectly acceptable. And if you have any questions about whether or not it's appropriate for a court, you can always ask us. Similarly, once you get to court, understand that the courts know that the attorneys follow a plan that the courts have laid out in terms of what order we have to get to certain courts. So felony courts first, misdemeanor court second. Within the felony courts, certain courts have preferential settings on certain days. This is unlikely to really affect you in kind of this either tail end or post-pandemic world that we're in now, because the settings are really staggered, so you shouldn't be sitting in court waiting. If your attorney is not there right when the court opens, don't be alarmed. The judges know we're in the building. And if you at any point get uncomfortable or are wondering where your attorney is, ask the bailiff if you can step outside and make a phone call. Feel free to call us or reach out to us on the client portal, and we'll be able to get back to you very quickly, and someone is always here at the office who will be able to answer your questions. If you're looking for an attorney, give us a call at 817-203-2220.